Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and today I'm going to review the second volume of The Lives of Captain Jack from Big Finish. Now, of course, the very first volume came out in 2017 and consisted of 4 really good stories. And now this year they brought the range back for 3 more stories, and these are some really good stories. We get Captain Jack being the 6th Doctor, and we get a Doctor Who character who only read the news in the show now gets a whole hour-length adventure, which is really cool. So let's get started with the very first story, Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind starts off with the 6th Doctor landing on Earth. Jack finds it, but it's not his doctor, and the doctor is dying right there in his arms. Of course, Captain Jack saves the day, but the doctor's not really in great shape to save the ship that's being invaded. So, Jack becomes the doctor, which is absolutely one of the most hilarious things I have ever listened to. Jack pretending to be the Doctor was just an absolute treat. He did a great performance, and he just basically was just kind of like Jack, but trying to be the Doctor. Now, of course, the Doctor was kind of not in the right mind, so Jack basically told him, I'm going to help save the day, you can watch. Basically, it's because the Doctor was watching him anyway. But I like how the Doctor was like, that's not how the Doctor's supposed to be, that's not how I would do it. And I love it. Jack's just doing his way, which is absolutely hilarious. Also about the story, though, the 6th Doctor becomes Captain Jack, which in that scene, he gives the most overperformed American accent you would ever hear. It is an absolute hilarious listen. So, and the banter between Captain Jack and the 6th Doctor is absolutely hilarious. I've never really thought to get a classic Doctor being Captain Jack, and I'm actually kind of glad Big Finish did that. And just imagining, thanks to the cover, we get to kind of see it, but Jack in the 6th Doctor's coat, that is hilarious. But yeah, this is a great story. I will say there's, not too much wrong with this story. I think Big Finish did a great job with it. The sound design is great, and just the 6th Doctor meets Captain Jack. It's a great listen. So now the second story in the box set is called What Have I Done? This story is definitely a different type of story, different tone than the previous story, as this one goes into the trenches of World War I, as Captain Jack is trying to save a soldier. And this story has a completely different tone than the previous story, as it's more or less a two-hander between Captain Jack and the wounded soldier, and you get to see a more of a kind of a toned-down Jack, because he's now seen the war, to see everything that happens within the war, and I think Big Finish the writer of the story, did a great job with it. And of course the sound design, because that's the most important part. Because, with the story being a two-hander, for going on for an hour, it's like one of those stories you just, can this really work? And this story, it does. It really does work. And I liked it a lot for that. Now what I'll say is there's a creature that's basically hunting the two. Is a creature that feeds off of fear. At least what I got from it. And, it's something that is just prevalent in the war. Fear, bloodshed, all that happens in this war, and you kind of get to see that this monster is feeding them, and you get to see what Captain Jack is really afraid of, and you just get to see all of this, what defines fear in the battle. And it's a great take on the kind of a World War I story, and I'm really, really enjoyed it. So now the third story, though, is a really great list, just for the fact that they brought back Trinity Wells, which is a character who really just basically, was the newsreader, like this, reading the news. And, told the kind of events of all the battles that happened during the Russell T. Davies era. So it was definitely a really kind of cool thing that James Goss wrote a story featuring her, because now we get to learn a lot more about her. We get to see a little bit more of her character, kind of a little bit more of her family. And in the story, she's left reading the news, and basically is now on a book tour and is assigned a driver who happens to be Captain Jack, which is great. It's great. It's kind of a funny little thing seeing Captain Jack. He's trying to be this kind of driver for her, not letting her kind of suspect who he really is. And you kind of always kind of tell he's kind of showing it, kind of sometimes, I felt at least. And at the end, she's just like, I know who you really are. I like how she's just kind of genius with that. The performance that the actress did for Trinity Wells did a great job in the story. It added a lot more depth to her character, which I think was kind of cool to hear, because, like I said earlier, she just read the news. And basically, her and her driver, mostly her though, has to deal with a buzzing situation. And basically it has a whole story of kind of questioning stuff, like, was this really real? And what's going on? is the stuff that Trinity Wells, was it really real, or was it just kind of something going on that was like hallucination or something? I kind of found it kind of interesting as she starts to second guess what she really kind of saw and reported on. So yeah, Driving Miss Wells was a fantastic story. And honestly, all three of these were fantastic stories. This was a well-crafted box. I really enjoyed listening to it. There's so much different tones within the story, and you also get expansion of the Doctor Who universe in the third story, and you just have a hilarious listen with the first story with Captain Jack meeting the Sixth Doctor. Get a more kind of somber, down-to-earth, two-hander in the midst of World War I. And, wow, Big Finish, great job with this box set. I would definitely recommend it, listening, especially if you're a Captain Jack fan, because this is Captain Jack, and it's always a blast to listen to him. So that is it for tonight. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.